Good morning. I see I have some people on, some early birds. I was trying to figure out how to turn off the waiting room or the lobby because I know I've got a lot of people scheduled for this call, and it's like I don't want to be clicking the button, but I think I might have to. Couldn't figure it out, so I'm like, it's all right. It's Friday. We'll get through it. Good morning. I see some other folks. And just to let you guys know, my camera is not cooperating. I got a new computer last week when mine crashed, and it doesn't seem to want to cooperate on my external camera. So I'm going to have to buy another one of those. But I appreciate you guys sharing your screen with me today, your video. We've got about 4 minutes and another 128 people that were invited to the meeting. So hopefully everybody will hop on. Got some people. Only 127 more to go. Let me I'll see if my camera will work this morning, guys, but it hasn't been working. So, yep, all you see is RealPage in the background. I'm not sure what's going on with my camera.
Do you all want us to have our cameras on?
I don't it doesn't matter to me as the trainer if you guys have your cameras on or not. Internally I'm not sure, but absolutely on my part, you don't need to have your cameras on if you don't want them on. I don't actually train anyways with my camera on because I move around a lot and I talk with my hands. And so I think it's distracting. So usually I'll try to share at the beginning and then I turn my camera off. So, but again, my external camera just isn't working. And with this new laptop I got, I'm afraid to open the laptop and use that camera and then close it. And I'm not sure what's going to happen. So, drama, drama.
Understandable.
Right? I mean, it's rough getting a new computer. I mean, I've tried to set it up like all week and I'm still like missing things. It's like I forgot what I had on my other one. So, all right, we've got 2 minutes left and a lot more people to join. So, hopefully everybody's had a good week. Went by quick. For me, anyways, I had a lot of trainings this week, so it went by super quick for me. And now it's Friday. So, I'm not sure you guys want to look at that real page, but just to know that I'm actually here. Gosh, we've got about 1 more minute. And I appreciate you early birds hopping on. Well, it is my time, 9:30. I'm not sure what time it is for y'all, and that is when we're supposed to start. But I'm going to give everybody maybe another minute or so to get logged in. But this does take almost a whole hour and a half, and I do have a hard stop at my time 11. So I want to make sure that that we get everything covered today. Good morning. I see a few more folks joined. Oh, we have a Melissa joining. Fantastic. And for you guys who just joined, my camera is not working. So you see my little reel page, but you can't see my face. So I apologize.
Oh, your speakers are muted. Let's unmute. Okay, close you. And I bet y'all can hear me, so I'm gonna close my mic too, because y'all don't need to hear me talking to myself.
Yes, we can hear you. I love it. I love it. I talk to myself all the time. I even answer myself all the time. So you have people slowly but surely hopping on. So that's fantastic. All right. I still have a lot more people, you guys, that 117 that I've invited that haven't hopped on, but I really do need to get started. So we're going to go ahead and get started. You guys are going to get a copy of this, so whatever they miss, they can go back and watch the recording if they need to. All right. Excuse me. Well, welcome everyone to your Richmond Management Business Intelligence Training. Super excited to talk to you guys this morning and spend some time talking about business intelligence. It's a fantastic product, and I think you guys are really gonna love it when you actually start using it. If you haven't started using it yet. And I'm going to minimize this real quick. I'm going to stop my camera since I'm not actually sharing anything there. And I'm going to minimize that. Pull that over there. All right. So I'm going to continue on. And real quick, since you guys could not see my face in my video, I am Melissa Schrader. I'm going to be your trainer this morning. I'm a client trainer here at RealPage. I've been here about 7 years, and I do have 25 plus years in the multifamily industry. I spent the first 22 years or so on the operations side at the site and at the corporate level. And actually, the last, I think, 9, I've been here on the vendor side. I did a little 2-year stint as a revenue manager between my multifamily and my RealPage journey here. So, and I do live in the beautiful Texas Hill Country. So if anybody, I saw a lot of property names on that list. I'm not sure where you guys are all at, but if anybody's near San Antonio, that is where I'm calling in from today. All right. So for our disclaimers, I have to throw this up here for you guys. So our sessions are recorded. You guys are going to get a copy of this. You won't be able to download it, but you'll get a copy of it. And they are time sensitive. And so just understand that you won't have access forever. I'll probably give you guys access for about 90 days. And so you'll be able to go back and watch the video, and they are intended for internal use only. So just for you guys. So please, you won't be able to distribute them anyways because you're not going to be able to download them. I'm going to skip past that one. If you have a question, so we are going to have a lot of folks on our training today. Hopefully everybody's going to trickle in here. You can unmute and ask. I request that you stay muted unless you have a question. If you don't want to unmute and ask, absolutely you can put that in the chat, and I will get that answered for you. And you can also raise your hand if you want. We can pretend this is a classroom and, you know, I can call on you if you want me to do that as well. So what are we going to talk about today, right? We're going to talk about BI. So what is BI? Sorry about that. I totally just skipped over my agenda, you guys. What are we going to talk about today? What is BI? We're going to talk about, kind of the background of BI, just give you a little, taste of what it is. We're going to look at our dashboard layout, our KPI bar, which is our key performance indicator bar, and some widget functionality. We're going to talk about the difference between company and custom dashboards, and I'll show you guys how to create a custom dashboard. So we're going to go over alerts. If we have time, which we should, I'll run a couple of reports for you guys, and then we'll run through the report scheduler really quick because any report that's available within BI can be scheduled. We'll wrap it up with any remaining questions that you guys might have, and then I'm going to ask you to take a quick survey at the end of our training. Here we go. Now, what is BI? So BI is an analytical tool that pulls your performance data from your property management system for you guys. That's going to be one site, right? And it's going to provide insight into your daily operations and your performance metrics in one convenient environment. It is customizable, right? So it can be that one-stop shop. For reporting, you're going to get, important at-a-glance metrics. You're going to be able to deep dive into those metrics, into your operational, your financial, your marketing data, right? And you're going to be able to do this at the portfolio, property, floor plan, and even all the way down to the unit level at some places. So that's going to be really super nice for you guys. And this one here in the middle is always fun because BI is a read-only tool. There's nothing to enter because it's pulling that data in for you. So when you first log in, if you haven't already, feel comfortable and confident in learning the system without fear of breaking anything, right? Because there's nothing for you to enter, so you can't break it. And then again, accessibility. So BI can be that one-stop shop for reporting. It can help eliminate time-consuming report pulling from multiple systems, as well as if you have any battles with Excel formulas like I do. I always seem to erase the formula and can't get it back. Those manual updates and entry errors. And again, you're going to get access to all your valuable performance details in that one location. This down here at the bottom is super important. BI relies solely on nightly data feeds from one site starting about 10 p.m. Central Standard Time. So timely data entry is imperative, right? Whatever goes on at that site during the day, the move-ins, the move-outs, the renewals, the notices, the rent, right? It all needs to happen on the day that it happens, right? I worked on site. I know sometimes that can be a challenge. Spent a lot of years on site, but we need to do our best, right? That way, when we're looking at BI, we're getting the most up-to-date and accurate information and data. Real quick, how do we log in, right? This should look super familiar to you guys. This is your unified login. You log in, you have all your tiles. And if you guys don't have access yet, you're gonna, when you get access, you'll have a business intelligence tile. You'll click on that tile, just like your other products that you have, and it'll take you straight into BI. All right. Any questions so far? There's usually not any at this point, but I want to make sure before I move on if there's any questions. You guys can answer me. If you don't answer me, I'll take no as an answer, but someone can come off mute as well if you guys want to do that and answer. So I'm taking it that I don't have anything right now. So we're going to just end that real quick like. And let me put that back over there for me. All right. So I have logged into the BI dashboard. Okay. This is y'all's BI dashboard. This is what it's going to look like. Okay. So basically, we're going to start off with just some navigation. So the first time you come into the system, you're going to be able to navigate around. I'm going to show you guys, what all that navigation looks like. So just starting off up at the top here in our Omni bar, we have business intelligence, we have Rich Smith management, and I have a property pulled up. So if I have the Ridge Fort Smith manager on, yay, we're looking at your properties details right now. So that's what's showing right here, right? We also have a property picker. So just like in OneSite, if you have access to multiple properties, you can see above there I have the little caret. If I click on that, what's going to happen is I'm going to have this window pop up on the right-hand side, and it's going to list all of the properties that I have access to. Now, if you only have access to one property, yeah, someone's not on mute, so if you guys could mute, I'd appreciate that. Because I think it's like I can hear myself. Thank you. So this is all the properties that you may have access to. Again, if you only have access to one property, fantastic. You're only going to see your one property here, right? If you have access to multiple properties, you will be able to see them right here, right? And if you do have access to multiple properties, if I wanted to change the property that I was looking at, I can go ahead and come down here and hit reset. And it's going to basically remove any check marks that I had, right? Now, I don't have any check marks. That's how you decide what properties you're going to look at. So if I wanted to look at multiple properties, and I'll just pick on some other properties here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to check those boxes. Now, for those of you that do have access to multiple properties, you guys have a lot of properties. You have 90, right? And you can see that I'm scrolling down here, and this is, still 2 pages. If I have multiple properties selected and I can't actually see on one screen, I can come up here and hit show selected, and it's going to pull just my properties in. Okay. Again, if you have access to multiple properties and you want to save this as a group, so every time you can come in or you come into the system, you're able to see these same properties, you can save this group as a property group. Click on that. You can name it, maybe we want to name it Melissa's region, Melissa's portfolio. We can name it, and then we can decide whether we want to make the group public. And making the group public, all that means is when someone else comes into BI, they would actually be able to see these groups. Now, I see you guys have some groups set up, so fantastic. We have some groups in here. I'm not sure if these are public or private. I'm logged in, obviously, as a RealPage user, so I'm able to see them. But that's what that means, okay? You can also search for properties. If you wanted to search for properties, you can search right there. You just put the name in and it'll pull it up. But when you're done, and let's say we're going to look at multiple properties today, right? We'll look at some aggregated data. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hit apply. Every time you come into the property picker, to be able to switch properties or add properties or remove properties from what you're looking at, you always have to hit apply because it acts as that save as. So I'm going to hit apply right there. And what that's going to do is it's now going to pull in where it says 4 properties, right? We were just looking at 1 property. Now we're looking at 4 properties. All right. Let's go over to the left just a little to our 3 little lines here, right? This probably looks familiar. We have this in OneSite. This is our navigation menu. So if I click on it, it's going to open it up. And I'm going to have some options here. Now, depending on your rules and rights, you may see all of these. You may just see a portion of these. But I'll go through a few of these with you guys. Home, if I clicked home, it's going to take me back to my unified platform, a unified dashboard where I've got all my tiles, right? So that's basically, it's just going to kick you out, so to speak, of the system. Dashboards, there's 3 different type of dashboards, right? That looks like a little, I don't know, gauge maybe. And if I click on that, I've got 3 different types: company, custom, and dashboard library. And I'll go into these in a little more depth here in just a second. The next one down looks like a little pie. That's going to be our reports. So this is where all your reports live. So any reports that we offer you from RealPage, because there is RealPage standard reports, and any reports that your company might have pulled in to their content. And again, we'll go over reports here before the end of the training as well. Some of these others you may not see. We are going to talk about alerts today because alerts can be set up for different metrics and they're going to trigger notifications when that alert, when there's changes in those metrics. And then we'll also talk about our report scheduler as well. And again, some of these you may not see, and you probably don't need them if you don't see them right now. And I'm going to go ahead and close this up. I just prefer to keep it closed because it gives me just a little more real estate on my screen. Moving over into the right side of our Omnibar, we have our app switcher. It kind of looks like a waffle. If I click on that, looks like you guys actually have rent control and you have yield star. So you have additional, sorry about that, I'm having to let people in from the lobby. You have additional AO products. So if I was to open this rent control or this yield star, it's actually going to open up another tab to the right of my business intelligence.
Hold on a second.
And then I'm going to be able to see.
Oh, that's what. Sorry.
I'm going to be able to
So
see
she says she's not complaining
those.
because she knows it's just normal, like every day, and that's fine. She goes, what's bothering her is that Nicole's having a problem.
Okay, someone is
because
not muted. If
Nicole
someone
is
could
like-
mute, please, because we are able to hear
The
your
dog is still
conversation. Thank you. All right. Sorry about that. So if I was to click on
Okay.
Yield Star, it would open up another tab for Yield Star, and I'd be able to toggle between those two. That's going to be your app switcher. You guys should have the bell icon, which is your notifications. I don't have the bell. You guys should have the bell. And then the help guide. I love the help guide. Hopefully you guys have used the help guide in the past. We don't have AI Lumina just yet. If you guys have AI Lumina and maybe in your one site or your dashboard, we don't have it just yet in here. Hopefully we're going to be adding that Lumina in here, but we don't. So as of now, you can just rely on your help guide. So it's my question mark. When I click on it, the first thing that's going to pop up is any product updates, right? Upcoming releases, recent releases. Hopefully you guys are familiar with that. And then our online help and guides. So when I click on this, it is going to, sorry, again, I'm having to let people in for the lobby. It's going to pull up anything and everything business intelligence related. And so any questions you might have, anything you're looking for, you're going to be able to find here. It is that waterfall type menu, and it is dynamic. So we were on the dashboards page. So it opened up to the dashboards information. Again, waterfall type menu. I can come in here and I can search for things in my waterfall. If I have a keyword of something that I'm looking for and I'm just not quite sure where it might be in here, I can come up here and I can type it in the online help search bar right there. In the middle section, we also have some drill throughs. And again, I know you guys are familiar with one site, right? Anything in blue, when you click on it, usually means you can drill through, right? So these are drill throughs. So if there's something here that you were looking for, you can click on that. And then I do want to mention our downloads. So when I click on the download button, this is where you're going to be able to find all your quick reference guides, your user guides, any quick step guides, right? So as you guys are getting familiar with BI, maybe there's, a few guides or quick steps that you want to go ahead and download to your computer just so you have them handy. You don't have to come in, every time and look for them. And if you do that, I absolutely recommend doing that. But if you do that, just make sure that you're coming in about every quarter or so every 3 months, and downloading a fresh copy, because we do updates quite a bit. In fact, we had one update on the 17th and another update on the 18th, right? 2 days in a row. So you just want to make sure that you're coming in and making sure that you have the most up-to-date information. All right, so that is going to be your help. Let's talk about what's next. So to the right of your help is going to be your name. This is not my name, but it should have your name. And there's only a few things you can do from here. One is dark navigation. I have that turned on already. If I turned it off, it's just going to turn my navigation bar to that light color. I prefer to have it on the dark because it's just a little contrast for me between my navigation menu and my dashboard right here. And then you can also log out from here, right? So unless you're like me and I just usually X off, but that's the only two things you can do from here. Moving on, let's talk a little bit more about this information down below the Omnibar. So we have different dashboards, right? We're looking at our RSM standard dashboard, okay? So let me talk about dashboards for just a second. I'm gonna come back over to my, what looks like the gauge icon, and I'm gonna talk about, kind of explain to you what these dashboards are. So company dashboards, you guys have one set up, right? So these have been built by your company, right? And it's shared to you. And this is what they want you to focus on, right? So this is a company-wide portfolio. This is what we want you guys to focus on, okay? So that's going to be any company dashboards. Now, you guys only have one right now. Those in your company, those BI admins, they may create additional company dashboards. I know you guys have some affordable properties. I think you might have a few conventional properties, but there's all sorts of things you can set up company dashboards for, right? They may set up one for you. Maybe you guys have some lease ups, right? Or maybe you have some properties that are going through renovations, right? And you want to look at those different KPIs and widgets for, that focus. So again, company dashboards are set up for you guys, kind of behind the scenes, and it is for your focus. This is what your company is saying they want you to focus on. Custom dashboards. Now, custom dashboards are set up by you, and you can have as many custom dashboards as you want. So you have your company dashboard, which is what your company wants you to focus on. And then you have your custom dashboards, which is what you can set up for yourself to focus on as well. And I'm going to create a custom dashboard for you guys before the end of the training. So you guys will see how you can create your own custom dashboards. And then we have what's called the dashboard library. And these we give you from RealPage. Okay, these are automatic. They come with the system. So if I was to click on this operational dashboard right here, it's going to change the name of my dashboard right here from my RSM to my operational. And it's also going to bring in different KPIs up here and different widgets. Okay, so that's how you change your dashboards. I'm going to come back to this one though. So super easy once you have those dashboards set up, it's easy to toggle between those dashboards. Now, talking about your dashboard library, this is a great place to learn, right? Not a great place to deliver work, right? There's not a whole lot. You can't arrange your widgets or KPIs. You can't add, you can't edit anything in these. These are stock. And so again, you can come in here and you can look at what we offer and maybe drill into some of them, the widgets, to see if it's maybe something that you want on your own custom dashboard or even company dashboard if you're responsible for setting those up. But again, not really a great place to work, but a great place to learn. All right, moving on. So beside our dashboard name, we have the number of units. So earlier when we were looking at one property here, we had the total number of units for that one property. Now we're looking at 4 properties. So this is our total number of units. So what that means is I'm pulling aggregated data from those 4 properties into my KPIs and into my widgets, right? Into my dashboard. I'm looking at 4 properties data. Beneath that is an as of date. This as of date is always going to be the day before the actual date. Today is February 21st. This is February 20th, right? Because you had that nightly data feed, right? So it's feeding that data in overnight, okay? Moving over to the right side. Now, because y'all are on one site, and we do offer this to our non-RealPage clients. So if you're a Yardi or Resman and Trada, you can also get BI. But for our one-site clients, we actually offer 4 different intraday data imports as well. And so things like your occupancy, your availability, gosh, I think renewals, there's other things that are going to come in during the day, and those are at 10, 12, 2, and 4. So your dashboard can actually update during the day. Now, there is things that only come in overnight, right? So not everything's going to update. And there is a help guide for those intraday data metrics. So if you guys wanted to go ahead and take a look at that and see what else coming in during the day, you can come back up here and go to your downloads and pull that, that guide. Next to that is the funnel. And so what the funnel means is that on your dashboard, you have financial data, okay? When I click on the funnel, it's going to say, okay, for that financial data, what chart of accounts do you want to bring in? Well, you guys only have one, so it's automatically going to default to that. And then your book type, your accrual or cash. So I'm going to say you guys probably won't need to ever mess with the funnel, right? Just know if you see that up here, it means that you have financial data pulling in from RealPage accounting into your dashboard, okay? And that data is pulled in however often your team wants that pulled in. Normally for RealPage accounting, it's going to be nightly as well, but there is different options for that. Next to that, we have the little pencil. The only thing you can do with the pencil when I click on it is I can edit the dashboard name. Now, if you're in a company dashboard, you're not going to be able to edit the name unless you have the correct rights. If you're in a custom dashboard, you can edit your custom dashboard name anytime you want. Next to that is a printer, printer icon, I should say. So if you click on the printer icon, what this is going to do is it is going to print your dashboard. So let's say that I was having a team meeting and my maintenance team doesn't have access to BI, but there was things that, in that team meeting that I wanted to talk about because we do have some work order status widgets and make ready widgets, right? Vacant ready widgets. So if I have those on my dashboard and I want to talk to my team about those, I can print this dashboard out. So I would click the print button. It's going to pull up that KPI bar. It's going to give me 2 widgets per page. I can hand that out during my team meeting. So everybody's getting to see what we're talking about, okay? So this is a really nice feature for those team meetings. And I know there's a lot of other things you could do with, with these when you print them out. That's just the one thing that comes to mind. Next to that is our 3 little dots here. That's our options menu. So when I click on that, you may or may not see all of these options again, depending on your rights. Switch theme, if I did switch theme, it's just going to switch everything to the dark mode. I'm not going to do that, but just take my word for it. We're not going to talk about tags or sharing a dashboard. If you have access to company dashboards, you may be able to share them. You can always, again, delete your own custom dashboard. So if you created a custom dashboard and you wanted to delete it, you absolutely could. Add a new dashboard, either company or custom, depending on your roles and rights. And again, we'll come up here before the end of the call and I'll create a new dashboard for you so you can see how that's done. All right. So that is kind of it for navigation. So is there any questions on navigation? Okay, perfect. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about what we see basically on the main page of our dashboard. Okay, all right. So up at the top here, this is what's called a KPI bar. So that's our key performance indicator bar. And what this does is it gives you a snapshot view of your most important performance metrics per your dashboard selection, right? So it is telling you a story of your performance at first glance. Okay, so I know that we're looking at our RSM standard dashboard and what my company or your company, I'll call it my company too, what is important to them in this KPI bar is right up front, they're giving you your occupancy percentage, your lease percentage, your availability. And I'm just going to call out right here. That's fantastic for you guys in these 4 properties, 1% availability. Way to go. You're going to be able to see your in-place rent per square foot, in-place rent per square foot year-over-year change. So what this is looking at is what is your in-place rent per square foot today versus what it was last year. So again, for these 4 properties, kudos, because you've increased your in-place rent 3.4% from last year. That's combined. Okay, I just want to say that because over here is new. So that is going to be renewals and new. Now over here you have your new. Okay, so this is again your in-place rent for your new leases. Ooh, 6.3% year-over-year change, fantastic. And this is the just broken out renewal. So that is those are the KPIs that your company wants you to be focused on, right? When you're looking at this dashboard. Now, again, whether you have access to multiple properties or you're looking at, that aggregated data, which you may or may not have, but I do want to mention that, if you do have access and you are looking at multiple properties, you can come over here to the options menu and you can pull what's called a scorecard report. And a scorecard report is basically, it's going to pull in those 4 properties that I picked. And then it's going to show me those same KPIs broken out by property. Okay. And you can actually rank these, top to bottom, right? So if my availability percentage was most important, hopefully you guys can see these little gray arrows up at the top here. But I can toggle them, top to bottom, right? And there's nothing wrong with any of these, right here. These are fantastic numbers. But if you were looking at that and there was something in particular, you could do that. You can also export this to Excel or PDF. Okay. And you can run a scorecard even if it's for your own property as well. And you're only looking at one property here. We could still pull the scorecard report up and we could export it to Excel or PDF. And I do see that someone asked a question about the dashboard and someone else answered, so fantastic. Yes, these KPIs can be changed out, and I'm going to show you guys how to do that when we build our own dashboard here shortly. So that's a great question. And thanks for the answer as well. All right, so in the dashboard, we can have anywhere from 1 to 9 KPIs. You have to have at least 1, but you can have up to 9. And since you're not limited on your custom dashboards, you could have a dashboard for operational metrics. You could have a dashboard for financial metrics. You could have a dashboard for marketing, right? You could have one for all 3. And also you can mix and match because that's what's been going on here, right? We have some operational, and then we kind of have, I won't say these are financial, but a little more into the, financial part right here. So, all right. There's a couple of other things you can do from here, but we'll talk a little bit more about that. We're going to go into the edits when we build our own. And the star report, I'll kind of quickly show you guys how you can do that. We don't have one to look at, so. All right, so any questions on the KPI bar up here? Again, you have to have at least 1 KPI and you're going to have up to 9. All right, so let's move down to our widgets. So below our KPI bars, what we have called widgets, okay? So a lot of times when you have a dashboard created, either you create one or your company has created one for you, you're going to pair your KPI bar with your widgets. Now, not necessarily, right? If you just want that quick at a glance all the time, what's my occupancy, what's my lease, what's my availability, you don't necessarily have to have, those paired. So just kind of depending on how you want to build a dashboard or how the dashboard has been built for you, right? So our RSM dashboard, we're focusing on these KPIs, and then we're focusing on these widgets. And again, when we build our dashboard, I'll show you how to get these widgets and where they live onto your dashboard. But we've got our recertification status. right, first and foremost. And before I go any further, I do also want to mention that every single widget that we have has this little eye icon. So if I was curious about how this widget, where it was getting its information from, does it have any drill through reporting? You know, what is this saying to me? I could click on this little eye icon and it's going to pop open another tab and it's going to give me all the information about that widget that I could possibly ever want. Right? Tells me what it is, right? Tells me the past due. That's the number of past due recertifications, the number of completed and non-finalized, right? And then any drill through reporting, okay? So instead of having to go to your help, right, and search for this widget information, you're going to be able to just click on the eye, right? If you had a question of how that widget, you know, what it's telling you, how it's calculating that data. And I don't have time in our training today to kind of dig into every single one of these widgets, but we'll go look at a couple just so you guys can kind of see the filters and the functionality. And they sometimes have additional filters, sometimes they don't. But this one, we'll just look at this one real quick. So if I wanted to click on this all, I can look at all or I can look at tax credit. Okay, so I've got a little filter up here I can look at. I also have my past due, my completed, and my due, right? So this is kind of my key right here. So then I can come down here and I can see just kind of hovering over past due. I have 3 past due, 0 completed, 0 due on the past due. Then 0 to 30 days. I've completed 4 and I've got 7 due, right? 31 to 60. I've completed 2, I still have 8 due, right? So you could just toggle, kind of, you know, hover over, these right here, and it's going to give you that information. So there's a couple of other things that we can do within a widget. Now, all widgets don't offer this. Some do, some don't. But if we come over here to our options menu, we also have a data view. So if you're a graph person, fantastic. I like the graphs, pretty colors. But if you're a data person, right, and you're like, I really just want to see the data. I don't care about the pretty colors. I want to look at it more in that Excel type spreadsheet view. If I come over here to data view, boom, same information, right? Just in that more of that Excel type spreadsheet view. And I want you guys to remember, again, I'm looking at these 4 properties. So if you're only looking at your one property, this is going to be your property's information. If you're looking at multiple, it's that aggregated data, right? One other thing you can do when you're in the data view, if I come back over to my options menu, I can export this to Excel. So if I want to take this outside the system, maybe add some information to it, I hate the word manipulate, but you can manipulate it, right? And maybe add some additional tabs to your Excel spreadsheet, right? So you can actually export it, but only in the data view. So when I go back to chart view, I no longer have the option to to export that to Excel, okay? So that's only in the data view. All right. We're actually going to drill into a different one here, so I'm not going to go to the drill through just yet. But I do want to mention the little arrows. That's an expansion. Those are expansion buttons. So if I click on this, it's going to expand it for me, right? And I still have my filters, right? So if I just wanted to look at my completed and due, I can actually just click on that past due and it goes away. I'm pretty sure for recertifications, though, past due is pretty important. So maybe we don't need to look at our completed, right? We can look at our past due and then what we've got due coming up, right? So that is some things you can also do with your filters is you can just click on them and it removes that data from your view. So here's our recertifications due, kind of same type of filters up there. Economic occupancy, this gives you a few more options here. You can look at this calendar fiscal year. Right now, because we're in the middle of February, we only have January's data. As we close our February's books, this toggle then is going to say January, and then there'll be one below it that says February. And you can toggle these top to bottom as well. Kind of just depending on how you want to look at that information. Again, you've got your key right here, our actual economic occupancy, our budgeted, our variance. Again, we can click on those. So as you're scrolling down, right, you can kind of see the different widgets that your company is set up for you. Expiration analysis, this is a really good one. Let me just explain the differences between these real quick. For scheduled expirations and actual expirations, scheduled is what was scheduled, right? It's pretty self-explanatory. This was scheduled and this happened. Actual is going to include anything that was not scheduled. So if you had a skip or an eviction, then that's going to pop up in here as well, right? So just know that actual is actual, so it's actually what happened, and scheduled is scheduled. So we do have a widget that doesn't have any data, and I believe this widget is for ops buyers. So if you guys are using RealPage counting and spend management, probably don't need this one. But kind of moving on here. This is a great one. I'll drill into our availability. Now you'll notice our availability doesn't have a graph view, right? It's just a data view, but I can see going back, right? 6 months. And let me just mention that too, because I think I've kind of forgotten to mention that. So because this is the first one we've got to that has this data. So on this expiration analysis, this is kind of a backwards looking widget, right? And you'll see some forward looking and you'll see some backwards looking. So this is that 15-month trend backwards. Actually, this one's 12 months. So it's going all the way back 12 months. You will see some that have 15 months in there as well. But this one goes all the way back 12 months. So this is one of those backwards looking widgets. So you can kind of see, right, the trend from where you were last February, right? Just hovering over those. So you can see that information right there. I don't think we have one on here that goes back to 15 months, but there is some that go back 15 months. But let's look at our availability. Again, kind of like our NOI performance, we don't have a graph view. But we don't have a graph view on here, but we can see back 6 months and say, okay, this was our month ending. This is our total availability number, that percentage, how many were vacant, what's that vacant percentage, what we have current month, next month, future month. This is a good one to drill through. Because when I hit that drill through, because I'm looking at that aggregated data on that first page, right, on my dashboard, this is going to break it down now per property. Okay. And again, even if we were only looking at one property, your property would pop up here and you can actually drill into it. So again, we have blue. Blue means drill through, right? So we're going to pick on Point Texarkana today, and I'm going to click on that drill through. It's going to then take me down to not only, I was seeing the overall picture, right? Now I'm seeing it by floor plan. So now I can see how many vacant units I have, how many notice to vacates I have, and what my total is, right? Broken down by unit. By floor plan. I'm getting there to the unit. And because my Point Texarkana is still in blue, I'm going to go ahead and click again because I know I have at least one more drill through. So when I drill through on this drill through, it is actually going to take me, and it's a little slow this morning on a Friday. Done a lot of BI trainings. BI, I guess it's a little slow today. It is going to take me into, drum roll please, the unit. It's going to take me down to the unit level. Not quite sure. Do we not have anything on this property? Oh, we do. Let me refresh it real quick. Oh, we don't want that. Let me get rid of that. Let me try one more time. You know, these things never mess up until you're doing a training, right? Everything works fabulously until you're doing a training. And I promise you guys, if it comes up, it's going to take me down to the unit level detail. It's not working here. Let's pick on another property and see if we can get something else going here. We'll pick on this one. And if not, we'll just move on. and I apologize. Any questions so far while we're waiting for this? Here we go. Yay. This one worked. But any questions? Put them in the chat, you guys. So this broke it down. This property only has one vacant, not leased, not ready. If we had some vacant ready, we would see those as well. If we had any vacant or on notice, not ready, or on notice not ready, we would see those here as well. But we just have one vacant, not leased, not ready. Shows us what building it's in, 28. Here's the unit number. Here's the floor plan. Here's the square foot, right? Kind of looks like your availability in one site. Okay. Any unit notes that you had in here, if you had any from one site, they're going to pull over in here as well. So that's kind of nice too. Because if you're in BI, you don't have to get out of BI to see what your availability is. You can actually just run it in here and not have to hop back into one site. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love one site, been working on it for 20 plus years. But this is nice because you're already in here, right? If you're in here and you're doing your thing every morning, which hopefully you're logging into BI once you get access to it every morning and you're looking at that data, you're going to be able to see that information straight from here. We close these out. All right. So that's going to be your availability. And that is one of the places that you can get down into the unit level. So I do just want to mention that because it doesn't happen on all of our widgets, but there is some that you can drill down in all the way down to the unit level. So there's some other widgets here that on your RSM dashboard that are important. You've got your renewal performance. You can actually drill down or filter into specific bedroom sizes. Again, our actual expirations are scheduled. Our NOI performance, that's pretty important, right? Seeing what our NOI performance is. Our vacant days, right? Again, we can toggle top to bottom. The max vacant day is going to be that blue line, the average vacant days. Our projected occupancy and rent, that's always a great one too, right? You can see what you've got right here. You've got current coming up all the way 90 days, right? Again, we've got our filters. Recent leases, this is always nice. You can actually toggle this one to the last 30 days. So if you're not really seeing anything, right? I think a lot of your properties are pretty much full. So maybe you don't have any leases. And then notices. And again, we're talking about for our affordable property, right? We've got our tax credit notices. We've got our on time over here, which is our blue, and we've got our past due. So, all right. That is going to be the widget section. Again, unfortunately, I don't have time to drill through all of these, but I will show you how to add them and how to arrange them on your own dashboard. But does anybody have any questions before we move on? No? All right, actually, I think this would be a great time to go ahead and build a custom dashboard. So let's build one here. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to come to my three dots and I'm going to come to add new dashboard. I'm going to name it. And don't worry, you guys, I'll delete this. So I'm going to name it training. Now this is, it does have a character limit. So just depending on, sometimes I hit the limit, sometimes I don't. I'm just going to go ahead and put training, but I'm going to go ahead and create my dashboard. It's going to pull in whatever KPI bar, whatever KPIs were in the last dashboard that I was looking at. Okay. So this is coming from my RSM dashboard. So I want to change these. I don't want to keep these KPIs because I'm going to focus on some other things. So I'm going to come over here, right? We looked at this earlier on my options menu, and I'm going to come to edit. Okay. This is going to bring up what's called your KPI selector. So this is where you're going to be able to select the KPIs that you want on your dashboard. Okay. You can see as I hover over these under operational, the ones that are grayed out, you can see the little circle with the line through it. That just means they're already over here, right? I can't pull them over because they're already over here on my selected KPIs. But let's say that I wanted to look at my expiration count 90 days. Woo! Tells me down here, please select between 1 and 9. You have 10. So I'd have to get rid of some KPIs. Super easy. Come beside that KPI, X, 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 right? Don't want those in there anymore, okay? And I can choose additional. We have a lot more available KPIs than operational. I'm going to click on the header. That's just a pro tip there. Instead of using your scroll bar right here, if I click on that header, it's going to collapse that. And I'm going to be able to come to marketing. Okay. Maybe I want to add a vacant ready. Okay. Someone put the KPI bar is not on my dashboard. It also does not offer a KPI selector under edit. I'm able to see widgets though. So depending on what dashboard you're on, what dashboard are you on? And it may not have, you should be able to look at the RSM dashboard and you should have those custom dashboard based off the original affordable one. So you're working on a custom dashboard and it didn't pull in a KPI bar. Okay, so if you're working off of the dashboard from the dashboard library, you're not going to have the ability to do anything on that dashboard because it's a stock dashboard. Okay, so if that's the one you're working off of, then you have to go to create new dashboard, name your dashboard, and then that information should pop up. The affordable one, I'm just on the one site new experience. Okay, perfect. Okay, so if you're in one site, yeah, we're not talking about one site. So yeah, creating a custom dashboard in one site is completely different than creating a custom dashboard in BI. Okay, perfect. All right, glad we got that worked out there. All right, so here is our available KPIs. So again, if I just click on this operational, it is going to minimize that. And it brings me to my next category, which is marketing, right? So I think I put some, yep, I put vacant ready over here. I can keep clicking on these headers and it's going to pull in additional options for me. We'll just add something in there. Unfortunately, when you click on something, it doesn't go back, which I wish it would, but it doesn't. We'll click on some risk management, right? Screens 30 days. And let's see what else we can put on here. And we'll put average days to complete. How many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We'll just put something from operational just to make it easy. And we'll put our projected occupancy 90 days. All right. So, and you guys, I'm just creating this and I'm just pulling in multiple things, right? Just to kind of show you guys that, again, if I wanted to just focus on operational, I could just choose my operational KPIs from here and pull them over. If I wanted to create an additional custom dashboard for just marketing, I could go through my marketing KPIs and pull those over, right? Same for financial. I'm just kind of mixing and matching because you can do that as well. All right. So how I have these in order right here is how they're going to show in my KPI bar. If I didn't like the order and I wanted to put my vacant ready up here before my expiration count, I can just easily drag and drop from here, okay? I'm going to go ahead and click OK. It's going to take just a second for it to do its thing behind the scenes. And now I have my new KPI bar. All right. So here we are. These are all the KPIs that I chose. Okay. If I still don't like the order, I can still change it without having to go all the way back in here and click in there. I can just do this. Again, easy drag and drop. All right. So once I have my KPI bar set up, I can come down to my widget library, which is down here, right, in my widget library. all the way down here at the very bottom in the blue. I can click on it. It's going to pull that library up. And then I'm going to have every single widget that is available within BI listed here. I have an all tab, which I think is probably easier. I'll switch over to that for you guys in the beginning as you're learning, because it just lists everything in alphabetical order. So if you're looking for something and you know it's occupancy and leased, or you know it's availability, you can search in here. As you get more familiar, you're probably going to eventually realize where those widgets live. If they're either in operational or marketing or financial, then you can just click on those tabs and search through those. But all is going to give you everything. So I'm just going to add some up here. Again, I'm not creating anything, my KPI bar is not going to, really work, or it's not going to tie in with my widgets because I'm just coming through here, right? I'm just adding stuff just for training purposes today. And again, you don't have to have your KPI bar with, match with your widgets. You can if you want to. You absolutely don't have to though, right? So you guys can see as I'm, clicking through here, I'm just dragging and dropping these widgets onto my dashboard. Right? Get a couple more. We'll just add that one. And we'll add that one. Again, I just chose these, you guys. No rhyme or reason. So when I'm done adding, I'm going to go ahead and click back on the blue library tab, and it's going to minimize that again for me. So now I've got my KPI bar set up like I want, but I've added my widgets, but I don't exactly like the order that they're in, okay? So I can change those. If I just hover over the name, you get the kind of little cross right here. Again, easy drag and drop where I want to put it, okay? Sometimes it doesn't go where I want to put it, right? But sometimes you have to finagle it a little, right? Little finesse there. Come on, availability. Do what I want you to do. So I'm not going to say it's always easy. It's easy to drag and drop. Sometimes they just don't end up where you want them to. So you might have to work a little harder sometimes to get them where you want them to. But that is how you can move your widgets around, right? Our best practice is to really have no more than 8 to 12 widgets on your dashboard, because if you start getting more than that, you're having to do a lot of scrolling down, right? And if you are pairing those with your KPI bar, you kind of lose sight of that, okay? Now you can always, minimize, your screen. I just minimized mine, so now I can see all 8, but that's pretty small, right? And so we definitely want to make sure that, you don't need 20 widgets on your dashboard, because you can create as many custom dashboards as you want, right? So you're not limited to the one dashboard and I have to add my 20 widgets onto it. All right, so that is building a custom dashboard. Now, the one other thing you can do from here with your widgets is you can remove them. So let's just say I don't want my revenue per unit on here anymore. I can say, oh, I'm going to go ahead and remove from my dashboard. Easy click. It wants to make sure you're okay with it. Yes, I'm okay with it. And boom, it's gone, right? And if I wanted to add another one on here that was more important, or, just really something I wanted to be able to drill into and have at, first glance, I could come back to my library, open it up, and then pick another widget, or I could leave it as is. So that is how you create a dashboard. All right, so that was really easy, right? You just edit the KPI bar. If I can get it to work there, edit it, pull that up. I said I was going to mention the star report. So if you want to weight your KPIs, you can actually put an amount in here, right? Maybe my occupancy is 50%, right? Super important. Maybe my lease is 10%. My availability is 5%, right? These have to equal 100. But when you run that star report from over here, the system's going to weight those for you, and it's going to rank them in order of what's most important to you. Okay? That's what the star report does, right? And then you can, of course, edit, right? So that's how you change up your KPI bar. And then we added our widgets from our widget library. If I did not want this dashboard anymore, I'm like, no, instead of just, editing it. Maybe I just want to delete it and start over. I can come back up to my options menu, delete my dashboard. It's going to say, oh, are you sure you want to delete it? And I'm going to say, yep, I want to delete it. And it's going to delete. And then I should have showed you guys before I deleted it, but if I hadn't deleted it, it would have showed up here under my custom dashboards, you guys. Sorry about that. I should have showed you guys that first, but I would have had a training dashboard. You know what? Let me just do that real quick. I won't put anything on here. I'll just add it back just so you guys can see. Oh, it's not working for me. Here it goes. So now I have a training dashboard, right? So that's where your custom dashboards would live, just like your company dashboards. Now I'll go back in and delete it so you guys don't have to see my half-made training dashboard. All right. So any questions? We've got a few more things we need to talk about, but any questions on how to create a custom dashboard? Oops, my screen's getting all fancy on me over here. So any questions about that? No? Oh my gosh. Okay, let's go ahead then, and we're going to move on to alerts. So alerts, you can set up alerts to kind of quickly notify you what is going on with your property, right? Or your portfolio. If you have fallen below or you're actually exceeding expectations or goals, right? So these can really, help you be proactive in kind of identifying risk and recognizing achievement, right? Because we know, I've been in the industry long enough to know a lot of times we're not proactive, we're reactive. Oh my, look what just happened. We should have seen that coming, right? And so these can kind of help you do that, right? So where your alerts live is right here. You have two little features when you click on the alerts. It looks like the little, I don't know, maybe teardrop, right? With an exclamation mark in the middle. But at your alerts, we have the alerts feed and we have alerts configuration. We're going to go ahead and talk about our configuration first before we talk about our feed. So it looks like you guys have some alerts already set up. So fantastic. We'll kind of walk through these alerts for you, and I'll show you how those were set up. It looks like you guys have an occupancy portfolio and a past due research, and they look like they apply to every single property. So wow. Okay, everybody's going to get these alerts. Okay, so let's look at this one. I'm going to go ahead and click edit, and I'll talk through what's going on here on this alert. And it would look just the same if we were going to add an alert, except there wouldn't be, going to make me close that, except there wouldn't be anything in here. Okay, but we are going to name our alerts, right? You know what? Let's look at, I'm going to go ahead and cancel that out. Yeah. Let's just look at adding a new one. That way I can mess with it and it's not going to mess with anything you guys already have set up. So let's look at naming the alert. Every alert has to have its own unique name. So you guys have one for occupancy, but let's say we were going to break our occupancy out into different regions. So actually I have already set this one up before, right? In another BI training. I'm going to name this one occupancy Texas region. Okay. So you can have the one occupancy for all the portfolio, but you can break them up also, right? What's the frequency that we want to set this alert up for? Do we want to receive this alert daily, weekly, or monthly, right? So it kind of depends on how important is this alert to you. I'm just going to pick daily just so I have something in here. And then what are the properties or who's going to be in this alert? Since I picked Texas region, right? I'm going to come in here and I'm going to hit my select properties. It's going to bring up my property picker. I know this is probably in Texas. I don't know any of these other ones. Ooh, we have some, right? And I'm just picking these, right? Okay. I'm going to go ahead and apply. So now I've picked 5 properties. Okay. So only these 5 properties are set up in this alert, my occupancy alert. So who do I want to notify? I can notify by roles, right? So all your roles, or I can notify by users. Okay, so I don't know if everybody's set up as a user yet, but I can notify by users as well, right? So for this one, since I only have 5 properties picked, I probably wouldn't want to notify every single manager within the company, right? Within the portfolio, because I only want to notify my 5 managers, right? So that's when I would want to come down here and I would want to go assign by user, okay? So you have that option. And then do I want to send an email? So not only am I going to get the alert in my feed, I can also get an email. So again, depending on how important this alert is going to depend on if I want to just have it in my feed or I want to send that email also, right? And then down here, you have your thresholds. So you can receive a red alert, a yellow alert, and a green alert, right? Green's going to be great. You're doing fantastic. Everything is wonderful, right? A yellow alert is, hey, we may have some things coming up that we need to look at before it turns into the red alert, right? That's the big, right? The X, like bad, right? And you do not have to set an alert up for each of these thresholds. You can do a red only, you can do a red and a yellow, you can do a red, yellow, and green. Maybe you just want to do a green, right? But these are going to decide, right? This is good, this is not so good, this is bad, okay? And then you're going to come over to your metrics. So these are the metrics that you have to set up for your alert, right? We're looking at occupancy right now, right? But you have an affordable, I think you guys have this one set up already, past due recertifications. Fantastic. You have some data audit metrics. Now, there is some, again, we do offer this outside of one site. So you're going to see some that say non-one site. You've got some financial alerts, right? Our economic occupancy, that's a big one. Maybe we want to keep track of that you guys do have that as a widget on your dashboard. And then we have some marketing. And then we have operational. Operational is always going to be the biggest. It has the most KPIs. It has the most metrics here. It has the most reports in it, right? But since we're looking at occupancy, I'm just going to choose occupancy. And you guys already have this one, set up down here. So it's probably going to be real similar to that. But I would set up, when do I want to get that green alert? When is my property doing fantastic? What is the high? Well, probably 100% is the high, right? We're going to say for us, the low is going to be 95. That's going to be green. I'm going to get that green alert when my property is between 95 and 100% occupied. I'm going to get a yellow alert if my property dips down to 94.9, right? Because I don't want to miss anything. If I put 94 in here, I would miss anywhere from 94.1 to 94.9. And then I'm going to say 90. And then that's going to be that yellow alert, okay? I'm going to get that in my feed. I'm going to get it in my email if I'm getting that email. And then I'm going to get a red alert if my property goes down to 89.9% to 0. Hopefully never goes down to 0. You might be in lease up though. So if you're in lease up, you definitely wouldn't want to have a red alert set up for your property. But that is how you set up metrics, okay? So each metric obviously is going to be a little different, right? And you're going to have to decide, what you want your low and your high to be, right? You also have over here, it's called add additional. So you can actually add in an additional condition. So we'll look at the and real quick. So let's say that we want that red alert for our occupancy when it's anywhere from 0 to 89%. But we also only want to get that if our availability is within, we'll say 10 to 12%, okay? So we're only going to get this occupancy trigger if our occupancy is within that range and our availability is within that range, okay? Because maybe what happened is you had a lot of move outs at the end of the month and you're 89.9, or we'll say 89% occupied, but your availability percentage is, you only have 6% availability, right? You're 94%. And so you've leased those units, they just haven't moved in yet. And so you don't need to get the red occupancy trigger alert because the team's already done what they needed to do and they've leased the unit. Those people just haven't moved in yet. So that's how you use and conditions. And that's just one example. So that is how you set up alerts, okay? I believe you guys have access to set up alerts. If you set up alert and you decide you don't want to use it anymore, you can delete it or you can just turn it off. But anytime you can come back in and turn it back on. When you were done though, you would save it. I'm not going to save this alert. I'm going to cancel it. But again, you guys have your occupancy and your past due research already set up. So let's go look at that alerts feed. So we're actually going to come back to our dashboard. And anytime you have an alert, it's going to show red, right? It's going to have that little red bubble. And then when I hover over it again, I can see I have 27 alerts. So when I click on my alerts feed, I'm going to be able to see all my alerts, right? So here's my date, right? Today we had 2 past due research portfolio. I don't want to pick on anybody here, but it looks at like Ridge Waveland has 1 past due research. Here's my occupancy portfolio. My Ridge Lake Charles, their occupancy is 93.1%. So just depending on what that alert is, right? You may or may not get that alert. This is a good one to show you guys because it has the red, the yellow, and the green. There's nothing in the yellow. Oh, let's go scroll down here. This is a really good one. Again, green, yellow, red. You may not have anybody in the yellow, but if I clicked on it, it's going to show me all the properties, right? I can see my property in red, right? 81.3, 64.3, and then I can see my occupancies for those properties in the green, right? And since you guys have everybody set up, it's a pretty long list here, right? But you're going to be able to see all that information. So that's going to be your alerts feed, okay? So really, really important that, you know, when you come into the system every day, again, you should be logging in every day. You're going to look at those feeds and you're going to see those alerts. Let me see here if you guys have your alerts set up. All right, so you guys are also getting your email on your occupancy alerts. So not only are you going to be able to see those alerts in here, you're going to get that email also. It's kind of a double whammy there, right? Because you're seeing it in 2 different places now. So can we get an email alert for NSFs? No, unfortunately you can't. There's no email alert for NSFs. You're going to have to just use OneSite for that. But you do have the notification or the NSF widget in OneSite that you can add to your dashboard, or if you don't have the ability to add a custom dashboard on OneSite, it can be added for you if you're on a shared dashboard. And there is that widget that can notify you of your NSFs. That's a good one though. We need to put that in here. Put that in the ID enhancement. All right. So that is alerts. Any questions on those before we move on? All right, perfect. So the last thing we're going to talk about today is reports and our report scheduler. So let's go look at some reports. We're going to come back over here to our navigation menu. Looks like the pie, right? And this is all of our reports that live here, right? We have a report template. We have our Rich Smith management. We have my content, right? Looks like you guys have your companies put some things in my content. So again, that's going to be the things that, you know, the reports that they're giving to you. They're saying, okay, these are important. We need to look at these, right? And then you just have all these others that come with the system, right? So you have your affordable. There's a ton of affordable reports in here, right? You guys, maybe we'll run one of those. There's a few financial. This one's actually pretty new. I just saw this the other day when I logged in. So you've got some financials. You've got some marketing. We only have 2 marketing reports. Some operational. Again, this is going to be the longest, right? You've got so many options right here, right? And then you have your scorecard report, and I'm going to absolutely run this one for you guys. But let's go back and let's just run, I don't know, what would be a good affordable report to run? We'll just run the affordable, run the recertification resident detail. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. Anytime you click on a report, a prompt box is going to come up. Okay. And they all look different. And you'll see when we run another report here in a second that it's going to look completely different from this one. But on this one, it's going to say, okay, do I want to include HUD and tax credit? Yes. Do I want to include market renters? Not sure we have any or not, but I'm going to go ahead and hit yes. And then I'm going to select my properties, right? And I'm just going to come down here. Hopefully these properties have some of this data and pick the properties. Again, if you only have access to your property, when you pull up the property picker, then you're going to pick your property, right? Even if you already have it up here, you always have to pick the property or properties that you want to run reports for. I'm going to hit apply, right? That acts as that save as. Tags are just different ways to filter the report. We're not going to talk about tags, so don't worry about those. And then you have some options how you want to run this report. Do I want to run it in a PDF? My tag count needs to be equal or less than 12. Do I run it in Excel and, be able to add things into it, right? Put notes, anything like that. Or do I want to run it in HTML? It also tells me about my tags. We're going to go ahead and keep it in HTML. And we're going to, run that report in HTML. But let's really quick talk about our report scheduler. So any report, again, can be scheduled within BI. When I click on schedule report, it can be scheduled in through the report, or it could be scheduled through your report scheduler, which is right here, okay? It's going to bring up BI. It's going to say, okay, what report do you want to run? I want to run my affordable rent roll detail. That's just the one I'm picking for this. I don't think it's the one I picked, but I'm going to select my properties or my groups if I have the ability to do that. Do I want to run it for the current fiscal period? What's the market type? Do I want to run it for market additional? And do I want to run it in PDF and or Excel? You can run it in both if you want to. When you've picked your prompts, hit the next button. It's going to take you to your frequency and your recipients. So how often do I want to get this report? Do I want to get it daily? I've got some options, right? Every day, even Saturday and Sunday, or just weekdays. Do I want to get it weekly? Do I want to get it monthly, right? So options there. Select start date and end date. The scheduled start date's always going to default to whatever day it actually is. So it defaulted to today's date. I can change that with my calendar if I want to. Do I want to end this report at a certain time, the schedule, or do I want the schedule to continue to the end of time? And then how do I want to send this report? Do I want to send it as a link to the report scheduler download screen? Or do I want to send it as a direct download link, right? Both of these up here, you have to have BI credentials. So sending it as a link to the report scheduler, I'm going to show you what that screen looks like here in a minute. And you're going to be able to just log in and click on that. And you're going to see those reports. If you send it as a direct download link, if you're already in BI, you'll just be able to click on the link and the report's going to open up for you. This next one here is a direct download link. Anyone can access the report. So that means if you send this to anyone, either within, maybe you're sending it to someone in your organization that doesn't have access to BI, they're going to be able to send it to someone outside your organization. So this is the least secure method. So just know, just remember that if you're deciding that's how you want to send it. Obviously, if you're doing it FTP, you'd have to set that up. But you can send the report to as many people as you want to. You can just put the email addresses in here, just separate them by a comma or a semicolon. When that's good, you hit next. It's going to take you to this last page, which is the confirmation page. And this is saying, okay, here's everything that you chose, right? And if you're good, you're going to hit create schedule. I'm not going to create this schedule for you guys. I'm going to go ahead and hit cancel. But it's going to actually take me into my report scheduler tab, okay? So you guys actually do have a report that's scheduled to run, your portfolio summary. My actual favorite report in BI is a portfolio summary. And if I wanted to edit that schedule, I could come in and click on it where it's kind of highlighted. I could edit it right there. The little people icon is going to show me who it goes to, right? So nobody right now. Who it's scheduled by, right? The frequency, the last run date, the next run date. And then the trash can is going to delete it. It's going to remove it. So maybe instead of removing, if you've added a schedule, instead of removing it, you can actually disable it. if you want to, right? And then a forced run just means that you can run it at right now. So if it's a report that's running weekly and it's running on Sunday night for Monday morning and it was Wednesday and you needed it, you could come into the schedules tab. You could hit your little force run right there. As long as you're on that distribution list, even if you're not, if you're running it for someone else, it's going to run and dump those reports into that email and be delivered. If I needed to create another schedule, I could hit the plus button. It's going to create another one. It's going to take us through the same steps we just went through. The reports tab. This is just saying, okay, we have our schedules and this is the report that's run. And you can see this one is actually run in PDF and Excel. And the system does keep the last 10 copies for you. So you can see the last 10 copies that have been run. Okay. There they are. You just click on the report name, click on the little 3 dashes, and then I can go back. Now it is going to remove the 10th one when it runs it again, right? So that 10th time when it's running, it's going to remove this oldest one eventually right here as it gets, to 10 and then so on. So it's kind of nice that it keeps a historical copy in there for you. All right, so that is the report schedules and the reports. But let's go ahead and go back to not alerts. Let's go back to just running our report. So I'm going to run my report. And here I've got my report. Okay. So I can see my tax credit. I can see over here, this is my resident recertification detail report. I have my property. I have my due. I have my program. I have my unit number, right? So this is breaking it down by unit number. I've got my head of household, the status, the move-in date, the next AR date, the certification status, the last certification, first notice, second notice, third notice, final, and then that interview date if they had that interview scheduled. And I know because I picked multiple properties that this isn't the only page that I have. So I'm going to look down here, down at the very, very bottom right here. And I know you guys, it's cold in Texas today. It should not be that cold. It's 30 degrees here, but I think it's going to be 75 next week. So I'm good. But I can use this little page down right here, and it's going to take me to the next page. If I did bottom, it's going to take me to the very last page. So anytime that you run a report and you're like, I know, and it's in HTML, I know there's additional pages and I can't see them, just always look down here and see if you have this in blue, and then you can just page down or go to the very bottom. All right. The one last report I want to show you guys, because we're running out of time here, is your KPI scorecard report. Let me minimize that right there. So you can run your KPI scorecard report from our KPI bar, right? We have our options up here to, oops, not that one. We have our options right here to run it from here, right? It's only going to give us this detail on these 9 KPIs or however many you have in here, right? Anywhere from 1 to 9. What this KPI scorecard report is very sensitive. What this KPI scorecard report can do for you guys is it's going to pull up just like when we added in our custom KPI bar, right? We did our custom dashboard. We saw all those KPIs that are available. That's what you're going to have to choose from. So again, prompt box, my book type, my chart of accounts. You can just leave these as they are. I'll select my properties again. I'm just picking on these 3. And these are my metrics. So again, these are all the KPIs that I have to choose from. And we know that we had a lot of operational KPIs, right? So this report is fantastic because you're not limited to the 9 KPIs. So I'm just going to go through here just to show you guys, and I'm just going to pick some. I'm picking a lot. We'll just leave it at that. When you're done picking, you can hit X. Again, you have some options. Excel's probably going to be the only option you're going to run it in unless you have less than, I think it's 12 metrics. Let's go ahead and run this report. Going to pull up right here for me in my Excel format. I've got my properties. I've got my operational KPIs, my marketing KPIs, my risk management, right? My affordable. I can scroll over, right? So again, this is a really, really great report because you're not limited to the 9 KPIs. You can pull in as many KPIs as you want to look at for your property. All right, the one last thing I'll mention is that you can favorite reports. So if you're going through the affordable or the operational that has a ton of reports and you don't necessarily want to schedule that report, you don't need to look at it, that often. You just, like to look at it every once in a while. You can favorite them. I'll favorite the KPI because it's easy down here. And how you would do that is you would go ahead and hit the star button right there, and it says, okay, it's been added to your favorites. Yay! So now when I come back over here, now I have a new bucket. It's called my favorites bucket, and that's where my KPI scorecard report lives now. So you can have a favorites bucket. I'm going to unstar it, and it asks me, am I sure? Yep, I'm sure. Okay, you guys, that's it. What do you guys think? You love it, right? It's fantastic. It's actually a fantastic product. I wish I'd have had it when I was on site or when I was a regional. But is there any questions before we wrap it up? We're almost on top of the hour, so I want to respect everybody's time. But is there any questions anybody has? Oh, yay! Yay, people love it. Love it. But is there any questions? It looks intimidating, but it is honestly appearing pretty easy. It is super easy to navigate, you guys. And again, I'm going to share this recording with you. It'll be available for 90 days. And so you guys can go in and you can look at it and you can see how I moved around. And don't be scared of it because you can't break it, right? There's nothing you enter like in one site where like, oh gosh, I have to reverse this, or oh no, I moved someone in, right? Or I moved them out before they should have. So it is really, really, it's a fantastic product, easy to learn. Again, don't be scared of it. You can't break it. So perfect. All right. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to wrap it up with, I
Hey,
just got a couple.
Melissa.
Yes.
Sorry to cut you off. This is Margot. Hi, everyone. I just wanted to jump on right at the end and say, let me know if you have any questions. Y'all do not have access yet, but I will be working on giving y'all access to this in the next day or two. So just check in, keep checking back in. You should have it soon. But I'm really glad you all hopped on. I'm really glad you all have access.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And that's why I'll leave that recording up for the 90 days, just so you guys, you'll have about 3 months to be able to get in there after you get access and still, be able to watch the recording. So thanks for adding that in, Margo. I appreciate that.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right. So I just want to leave you with some key takeaways from our call today. So BI can be your shortcut to success. No digging, no searching, just really logging in here every day is going to give you that direct line of sight into your performance. Timely data entry. I talked about that in the beginning, right? Super, super important because you want to make sure that you're getting the most accurate data in BI. The help guide. I still use the help guide, you guys, after all these years. And I even work for RealPage and I use the help guides. So don't forget about the help guides and the little eye icon and the widgets. And then use your product learning portal. I think you guys might be going to Real Connect, not sure just yet, but for any other training opportunities, make sure that you're taking advantage of those as well. And last but not least, I'm going to ask you guys to take a quick survey about your training that you had with me today. Please let me know how I did. I love your feedback and your comments. Hopefully I've got a 5-star from you guys today, but if not, let me know what I can do better. But if you scan this QR code with your phone, it's just going to take you to a survey that, I don't know, they say 5 minutes. I don't think it takes 5 minutes, but it's going to ask you some questions about how your training was today and then who your trainer's name is. So you're going to have to scroll all the way down. We got a lot of trainers. Scroll all the way down till you get to me. But let me know how I did. And again, I want to thank you guys for spending this hour and a half with me on a Friday morning. It's Friday, you guys. It's fantastic. We made it through the week. And I want you guys to have a great, great rest of your Friday and a fantastic weekend coming up. And again, thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to send the follow-up email out for you guys. It'll also have the survey link. So if you guys don't have a chance to take it now, that's okay. And I will send the training link. You guys should have it in the Teams meeting, but I'll send it along as well so you can have it handy. So if you guys don't have anything else, I am going to go ahead and say goodbye and have a fantastic rest of your day. And I appreciate you guys.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Absolutely. You too.
Have a good day.
Thanks,
Thank you. Have a
guys.
good day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.